Scan the Week 8 schedule and you'll quickly determine it's going to be another great weekend around college football. 5 matchups between top 25 teams headline an impactful Saturday that builds to the finish. After a couple of ranked SEC showdowns in the afternoon, the evening slate contains the last 3 of those contests. UNLV taking on reigning Mountain West champion Boise State means Week 8 is absolutely loaded with great matchups. Hey there, welcome everybody to the Week 8 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. A lot of games to get into, so we're just gonna dive right on in. 20 games on the docket for this week. The first 2 of which are Friday night matchups. And we started off with the game that'll take place tomorrow night at 7 p.m. over on ESPN. The number 2, Miami Hurricanes, the U. And they're going to be at home against the Louisville Cardinals. The Hard Rock in Miami. Dave Patch, Dusty Dvoracek, and Taylor McGregor. They will be on the call in Miami, opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. So without any further ado, let's dive on in. This misdirection has wrecked Miami in clashes with Louisville. Louisville coach Jeff Brom is a fantastic play caller. So this is an important test for what has been a significantly improved Miami defense to avoid reverting to problematic habits. This is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be close all the way, but I think Miami is going to get that. I think they're going to get that last second score to win the game. So I'm going to go with Miami to win this one. High scoring game. I'm going to say 34-29. Miami defeats Louisville tomorrow night at the Hard Rock. So not much more to say. MF. Miami, number 2, and at home at the Hard Rock. But they got Louisville coming in. That's an upset alert game.
It is upset alert, but I feel like Miami is going to handle their business. You know, Louisville has always been a thorn in the side of the Hurricanes for a number of years. And I just feel like Miami is like, you know what? For once, this is definitely a golden opportunity where, you know, they're the toast of the town right now. Everybody's talking about them. Everybody feels like this could be the year Miami could make a run at the national championship. And they're going to want to dominate, take it early, and just get the job done. So for me, Miami, it should win this game, and I think they will win this game. So give me the Hurricanes. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Miami as well. I mean, I think it's going to be close at the beginning, but I think they'll pull away. Because like you said, in the past, Louisville has given Miami fits, but I think this time around, I think they should be able to, like I said, it's going to be close, but in the end, I think Miami will pull away. So give me the Hurricanes to win. So it's yours, Florio.
All right, Bullock, we move on to the next game, the other Friday night game. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. over on Fox. Big Ten matchup. Back in the top 25. How about this? The number 25 Nebraska Cornhuskers on the road against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Huntington Bank Stadium in Minnesota. Tim Brando, Devin Gardner, and Josh Sims will be on the call for Fox. And Nebraska opening up as a 7-point favorite. MF, sleeper matchup here. Nebraska back in the top 25. But they got to go to Minnesota. Not an easy place to win.
Not an easy place to win. You could even call upset alert. I feel like Nebraska had that one bad game against Michigan where they did lose. But even though they gave a gallant effort, it was a great game. But Nebraska just couldn't hang with the Wolverines. And Minnesota, even though their record's very deceptive. Yeah, they're 4-2, but the thing is that they're very good at home. They're pretty dominant at home. So I just feel like going into this game, to me, honestly, it feels like a trap game. It does. It feels like a trap. It feels like this could be one of those where um if they don't watch themselves, they could get caught. And as a matter of fact, Anthony, they have not lost a game at home this season. Um Minnesota has Minnesota is undefeated. They're 3-0 at they are three they're 4 win they're no wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, all their 4 wins up to this point have all been at home. They have not lost a game on the road. All their losses have been on the road. They lost to California, and then they got demolished by Ohio State. But then again, it's Ohio State. So, do I think it could be an upset? Yes. Do I feel like it's gonna be? Oh, that's a tough thing to call. But you know what? 4-0 at home, night game against Nebraska. I don't know, man. I feel like I want to pull the trigger. I want to do it. I want to call upset. You know what? I'll do it. Give me Minnesota to stun Nebraska. Close game, but I don't know. That 4-0 at home really it holds some weight there. So give me Minnesota for the upset. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this is going to be a close game, and I'm with you, Fletch. I'm going to pull the upset too, because like you said, Minnesota is undefeated at home, and until someone can go in and beat them, I can't go against that. And like you said, it's a night game, and they're going to perform really well. It's going to be close, but I'm also going to go with Minnesota to upset Nebraska. So it's yours, Florio.
While the visitors come in ranked and as the favorite, the Golden Gophers are unbeaten at home, as MF mentioned. The interesting piece of this matchup is Minnesota tends to rely on its passing game, while Nebraska has an elite secondary. And where Nebraska's defense is a little shaky against the run, Minnesota has been similarly mediocre offensively. If the trends hold true, I'm sorry, guys, I respectfully disagree with you. I think it's advantage Nebraska. But that's not to say this is not going to be a close game, because it's going to be a close game. I think Nebraska is going to eke it out. I think Nebraska could win on a last minute or last second field goal here. 26-23. Give me Nebraska to win. Voice is a little shaky, so I can't really do the lone wolf thing. So I'm sorry about that. But yes.
Well, you never really do it anyway.
No. So, but I'm lone wolfing it on this one. Give me Nebraska to win. 26-23. Now we move into the Saturday slate of the action. And believe it or not, we only have two 12 noon games featuring top 25 teams. The good news is they're both good ones. But this one, I feel, with all due respect, is just a smidgen better. This game can be found Saturday at 12 noon. We're going to be on ABC. And we're going to have the number 10 LSU Tigers on the road against the number 17 Vanderbilt Commodores. First Bank Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. The game is on ABC. And on the call for that one, I do believe it's the voice of Monday Night Raw. Yes, it is. Mr. Joe Tessitore, along with Jesse Palmer and Katie George. And the spread favors... That disappeared on me. Just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to have to do believe it or not, Vanderbilt's opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, you started off here. You started off the Saturday slate. Number 10, LSU. Number 17, Vanderbilt. Vandy opening up as a 2.5-point favorite.
Which is a little surprising, but again, they are a good team and they are at home, but I got a feeling that I think LSU is going to pull this one out. I just think they're the better team here, but I think this is going to be a close one. Vanderbilt is definitely going to give LSU fits, but I think at the end of the day, LSU will come out with the victory here. So give me LSU to win. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. This out of all the games this week, this is the one that I have had the hardest time with. I've gone back and forth on this one. Against FBS competition, LSU has not scored more than 23 points, and that number dips to 20 opposite power conference teams. Even though the Tigers' defense is excellent, it's a concerning trend heading into a road game. And this Vanderbilt team, minus the outside of getting smacked around by Alabama, this Vandy team is the real deal. LSU's been a little shaky as of late, and because of this, I'm actually gonna this time around. I'm actually gonna pull the trigger on the upset here. I'm going with Vanderbilt to upset LSU, 21-20. Vanderbilt. Give me Vanderbilt to upset LSU. But would I be surprised if LSU wins? Certainly not. They're a very good team also. But with the game being at Vandy, I gotta go with them. So not much more to say. MF, number 10 LSU, number 17 Vanderbilt. Back and forth. This is a very tough game to call, but I'm leaning towards the upset here. Are you gonna pull the trigger once again?
This one got a conversation and a debate going in my Discord group earlier today. And nice. we were talking about this one. And like I said, a lot of my friends are SEC folk. I got a Tennessee person. I got a fan who's from Alabama. One of my friends is actually an ACC girl. She supports Syracuse. That's a story for another day. But this one got a lot of debate. And this one got a lot of conversation going. I'm sorry, Michael Bullock, you're a lone wolf in this one. I'm calling the upset again. I'm going with Vanderbilt. I think the Commodores are going to do it because here's the reason why. Before you lone wolf it, Bullock. The reason why I'm going with Vanderbilt is like this. They're better. I don't know what it is. I feel like Vanderbilt, this is their moment where they can say, we have arrived in the SEC. Because for a number of years, and Anthony, you know this, what's the one thing we normally situate Vanderbilt as? A doormat.
The doormat.
They are the doormat. They are the doormat to the Alabamas, to the Tennessees, to the Floridas, to the Georgias, to the LSUs. They are the doormat. They've never been relevant. They've never been good. And a lot of people feels like, why do we care about Vanderbilt when we know the script every single year? But for the last few years, for the last couple of years, Vanderbilt's been making this thing of, what about us? You know, not too long ago, if you remember, Anthony, didn't Vanderbilt stun Alabama? Didn't they beat Alabama?
Last year,
right?
40-35.
So all of a sudden, they started to shred that, oh, we're no longer the doormat. And even this year, you know, they've been pretty good. You know, they've been a lot better than expected at 5-1. You know, that one loss, unfortunately, yes, the dreaded Alabama, the next victim card did fly, but they've won all their remaining games. That was the first loss of the year. And they've already beaten like the likes of South Carolina, and I get it. It was an easy schedule at the beginning, and that it does get a little tougher for Vandy, because now you got the murderers row coming up. You got LSU at home, you got Mizzou at home, then you go on the road to Texas, you got Auburn, you got Kentucky, and then on Thanksgiving weekend, or the Thanksgiving week, that's the big one against Tennessee, which is their in-state rivals. I don't know, man. Something tells me that if they get through this game, if they win this one, this might be the moment where we might say, all right, the Commodores are real, and they're no longer the doormat. It's time for us to take them a lot more seriously than we normally do in recent years. And being at home, yes, it's LSU, but something tells me LSU always, I don't know what it is, but LSU, when they play a game like this, it gets it gets really dicey. And let's be realistic. The last couple of games, they've not looked good. They lost to Ole Miss on the road. And then they had that one game where, even though they won, they didn't look spectacular against South Carolina. And hell, you can even go further back to the game on September 13th when they beat Georgia. I mean, when they beat Florida. But that wasn't a dominating performance either. There's something about this game that I don't know why, but I like Vanderbilt. Something about this game, it just seemed like the stars are aligning for a Vanderbilt win. I don't know why. There's something about it. It's like a head to the gut, but both my gut and my head are saying, go with Vandy, go with Vandy, go with Vandy. I'm going Vandy. Vanderbilt in an upset over LSU.
All right. So with that, we move on now to the other 12 noon game.
He had a chance to catch that ball, and this is no different.
Yes, Bo, go ahead. There you go. So moving on to our next matchup. We have the now number 12 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets on the road against the Duke Blue Devils. And this will be over on ESPN. Emanating from Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. And this will be over on ESPN, as I mentioned. Bob Wischusen, Lewis Riddick, and Chris Budden will be on the call. And guys, believe it or not, Duke is opening up as a 1.5-point favorite here. A little surprising here. But anyways, let's dive on in. Perhaps the final time Georgia Tech is not favored in an ACC game. The Yellow Jackets head to Duke as a slight underdog. The main storyline is whether a pesky Duke defense can thwart a Tech rushing attack led by quarterback Haynes King, who is maddeningly efficient, to opponents at least, in short yardage situations. Stopping the money down plays is imperative for Duke to flip this result. This is going to be another close game. Georgia Tech on upset alert. But I can't quite pull the trigger on this upset. I think Georgia Tech's going to eke it out. I'm going to say Georgia Tech wins 23-19. Georgia Tech escapes Duke with a win. So, not much more to say. MF, so far the theme of this show, upset alerts, and Georgia Tech, oh yeah, they are most certainly on upset alert. They're going to Duke, and Duke a 1.5-point favorite. That's an upset alert.
I think the reason why you got to call for upset alert is because of the fact that they're at home And Duke, again, one of those teams, 4-2 overall, and they're coming off a big win over California, and their road up to this point as well. What makes them kind of unique in this situation? Well, they only had that one loss. They had 2 losses. One loss, and they were back to back. They got beaten down by Illinois, but Illinois is Illinois. And then Tulane just caught them on a bad day. It was on the road. But think about this. The last couple games in the ACC, they knocked off NC State. They crushed Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. It was a massacre. My friend, like I said, I have a friend. She's a Syracuse fan, and let me tell you, she was not happy. Like spitting kittens type of deal. And then, of course, last week they went out west, got a big win out of California. Big win. But if you're Duke, be careful. Do not get wrapped up, because guess who's coming down the pipeline there, Anthony, in a couple of weeks? They got to go to Clemson. I hope they're not looking past Georgia Tech and is thinking about that Clemson game, because, boy, you're going to get mollywopped. And Georgia Tech, undefeated, 6-0. So they're right now the belle of the ball in the ACC. They are actually 1 or 2. There are a couple of teams that are undefeated. But I'll say this: they got very lucky that they beat. A couple of games ago, they almost lost their undefeated streak when they went up against Wake Forest and almost lost that game. But they've already beat Clemson earlier in the year. They beat Wake, and then obviously the last week they beat Virginia Tech, Va Tech. So you start looking at all these games, and you're thinking, can they really do it? Is there going to be a big threat? I know why they're giving them that spread. It's kind of more because it's the hometown bias. But honestly, truthfully, G-Tech wins. I got Georgia Tech. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I think this could be a close one here, but I think at the end of the day, Georgia Tech, I think will be able to pull this one out. So give me the Georgia Tech to win this. So let's move on to the next game.
12:45 kickoff over on the SEC network. The number 14 Oklahoma Sooners on the road against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Williams-Brice Stadium, Columbia, South Carolina. SEC Network will have it. Taylor Zarzar, Matt Stinchcomb, and Alyssa Lang will be on the call. Oklahoma opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. And MF, we started with you. Oklahoma, they got to go to South Carolina. There's nothing left to say except, in our immortal words, classic case of a get-right game. This most certainly needs to be a get-right game for Oklahoma after they got smashed by Texas in Red River, unfortunately giving us a rare dud in the Red River rivalry. We're always expecting that game to be a 5-star shootout. We've had some in the past, but unfortunately this year we did not getting a dud of a game, unfortunately, because Texas was so dominant. So, not much more to say. MF, if you're ready to come on in here. Number 14, Oklahoma drops down to 14. They were in the top 10 a week ago. They dropped down to 14. They now got to go to South Carolina against the Gamecocks at Williams-Brice Stadium. And Oklahoma, there's no question about it here, guys. Oklahoma definitely needs a bounce back here. I mean, after they got smacked around by Texas in Red River. So we'll see how that goes. So sleeper can't really call this an upset alert. So, all right. And by the way, we're also keeping a close eye on Thursday Night Football with the Cincinnati Bengals leading the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-24. I don't know if MF stepped away or what's the story, but while we await for MF to come back, Michael Bullock, why don't you take
I'll
this
take
one
it for a spin.
You take it
And
first.
also,
Spin. Go ahead.
and also, you another thing, Florio.
No, we got MF. We got MF.
All right.
All right.
And also another thing, Florio, we got to keep an eye on this game 4 of the ALC.
Yes. With the
And
Blue
right
Jays
now,
and
it looks like Toronto's about to even it up.
Yes, they are. So we'll get to that in a moment. So, MF, our next game is number 14, Oklahoma, on the road against South Carolina at Williams-Brice in Columbia. Oklahoma, they need a bounce back after they got smacked around by Texas in the Red River.
Yeah, nah, this is probably going to be the good return, and this will be the bounce back. They should win this game. Oklahoma should win it. South Carolina, a little rough on the edges. Oklahoma, this is only their first loss, so I'm sure they'll bounce back. So give me the Sooners to win it. I got nothing else to say. So does this go? This goes to Michael Bullock then. Bill Bullock. All right, then I got Oklahoma winning.
Boomer Sooner, Bullock?
Yeah, I'm going Boomer Sooner. This has got to be a get right game for them after getting blown out by Texas in the Red River rivalry. So give me Oklahoma to win. It's yours.
Expect the whole MF. I think you're going to like what I'm about to say here. MF's going to love what I'm about to say here. Expect a whole lot of defense when Oklahoma takes on South Carolina. South Carolina, who's coached by former Oklahoma assistant Shane Beamer. What's especially worrying for the home team is the offensive line has yielded 20 sacks, 8th worst mark nationally. Oklahoma, meanwhile, is tied for 3rd at 22 sacks. South Carolina desperately needs its blocking group to hold up, but I don't know. I think it's going to be closer than you think, but I think Oklahoma will pull it out here. 20-13, give me Oklahoma to defeat South Carolina. And now we move into our 3:30 games, guys. And we got 4 of them. Started off with one of our favorites, the Big Ten on CBS. The number 1 team in all the land, your reigning, defending, undisputed college football playoff national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes, on the road against the Wisconsin Badgers, Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. And of course, if it's the Big Ten on CBS, you know who's working that as always. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell. Ohio State opening up as a 25.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, we kick off the 3:30 games with you. The champs, number 1, Ohio State on the road against Wisconsin for the Big Ten on CBS.
Yeah, Ohio State continuing to show everyone why they are the reigning national champions, and I think that role is definitely going to continue for them. So give me the Buckeyes to win this one. So, and I think they'll win this one easily. So it's yours, Florio.
I agree. Wisconsin has not cracked 300 yards or 14 points in 4 games against a power conference team. Absolutely no issues for Ohio State here. One of my locks of the week, if not my lock of the week, Ohio State will make themselves at home at Camp Randall 41-7. Give me Ohio State all over Wisconsin. Not much more to say. MF, the champs in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on this one. I'm gonna also go with Ohio State to win. I don't think there's gonna be much of an argument here. So give me the Buckeyes to win it as well. And yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So guys, back to you.
All right, MF. We move on now to the team that right now, without a doubt, is the toast of college football right now. The now number 3 Indiana Hoosiers back at home at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana, and they're going to be welcoming the Michigan State Spartans. And this game will be broadcast exclusively on Peacock. Dan Hicks, Jason Garrett, Zora Stevenson. Indiana opening up as a 27.5 point favorite. An ideal matchup to avoid a hangover game. Indiana is set to host Michigan State and its porous defense. No team in the Big Ten has surrendered more points per game than the 31.8 afforded to the Spartans slate so far. More of that to come on Saturday. Hoosiers are for real. Going to be tough to beat, boys. Give me Indiana. 38-17. Indiana all over Michigan State. MF, Indiana, number 3, coming off, without a question, their biggest win in the history of the football program, going into Eugene, Oregon, and beating Oregon on the Big Ten on CBS a week ago. And now they got practically a gimme at home against Michigan State.
And it's funny because me and Michael Bullock covered that game. We were in Eugene, was witnessing that upset that big win last week.
Yes,
without a doubt. Tremendous performance by them. Without a doubt, it was one of the best performances by Indiana all season long. And now they get the fruits of their labor with the big game coming up. So yeah, I totally agree with it. So give me Indiana to win and win this one pretty comfortably. So yeah, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
They're not just a basketball school anymore, boys.
Oh no, we always talk about them with basketball, but we're talking about their football team now, because after they're going into Eugene, Oregon, and beating the Oregon Ducks, that's basically them saying we have arrived. And we are not to be taken lightly at all.
Amen.
And so much so, their coach, what's their coach's name?
Kurt Signetti. Kurt Signetti.
He just got an extension. And
pay the man.
Huh?
Pay the man.
And that's what they did. They paid the man. And there were rumors going about that maybe he was a name that was going to be considered for Penn State.
Yeah.
Well, not going to happen, folks. They just gave him that extension, and he ain't going anywhere. So, yeah, Indiana, I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, all those teams in the Big Ten, especially the reigning national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes, you better put some respect into Indiana, because they announced, hey, we have arrived and we're going to contend for a national championship. So give me the Indiana Hoosiers all day long. It's yours, Gloria.
And on top of that, Anthony, the schedule gets very easy for them after this game, because listen to this. After Michigan State, then they got a home game against UCLA. Now watch out for UCLA. UCLA all of a sudden, their last couple of weeks, man, that's a team you might not want to face right now. I don't know. UCLA is looking good. You got Maryland on the road, Penn State on the road. We all know Penn State's now a mess. Wisconsin and Purdue. I don't know you boys, but there's a very good chance that Indiana runs the table and goes undefeated. And if they do that, they're playing for the Big Ten championship. They're going to Indianapolis.
Home game.
Let the chips fall where they may. There's a very good possibility we may get Ohio State, Indiana at Lucas Oil for the Big Ten title.
Oh, can you imagine that? Anyways, Kurt Signetti reached a new 8-year contract that will make him one of the highest paid football coaches in the FBS with an average an annual average salary of about $11.6 million. So it looks like this this is like an 8-year, 93, 92, $93 million deal. That's nutty. So what a job he has done. I don't know what else there is to say except well deserved. So, all right, guys, we got a loaded slate here, and wow. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have just scored a touchdown. We got a wild and crazy game in Cincinnati, but then again, with Steelers and Bengals, what else is new, right? So, oh my. All right. Next 3:30 game takes us to the SEC. We have the now number 4 Texas A&M Aggies on the road against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Donald W. Reynolds, Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. This game will be over on ESPN. And on the call for that one will be Mark Jones, Roddy Jones, and Quint Kessenich. And Texas A&M opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. I believe this one goes to MF. So MF number 4, Texas A&M on the road against Arkansas.
Sorry about that. I forgot to unmute my mic. No, my bad.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with Texas A&M. I'm not gonna bore you people with why I'm gonna go with A&M. A&M is definitely one of those teams right now that looks very strong. So I'm not gonna waste much time on this one. I got A&M. I think they beat Arkansas. Tough game, hard fought game, but A&M wins. So Bullock is yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Texas A&M as well. I mean, I think they should be able to handle their business with Arkansas here. So give me Texas A&M. It's yours, Florio.
Texas A&M's offense can overpower Arkansas on the road, and that's the driving force of us picking the Aggies. But if the Hogs finally rise up defensively, this could get interesting. But A&M will win this game. It will be a close game, but I got A&M winning it. 31-24, give me A&M over Arkansas. And we move on to what I believe is the game of the week. Although we got plenty of main event caliber matchups here, and this is the first one. You can make an argument that this is the game of the week right here. 3:30 on ABC. Our final 3:30 game, and what a way to end the 3:30 slate with this great matchup. The number 5 Ole Miss Rebels on the road against the number 9 Maiden Georgia Bulldogs. Sanford Stadium, the Hedges in Athens, Georgia. On ABC, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, they will have it. And Georgia opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. All right, Bullock. On paper, game of the week right here. Number 5 Ole Miss, their biggest game. They're going on the road against number 9 Georgia. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit will have it. So Bullock, what do you think of this game of the week with Ole Miss and Georgia?
Oh man, this is going to be a good one here, and I mean this could determine who plays for the SEC championship later this year. I mean, I know we still got a long way to go, but oh man, Ole Miss, it's been a really good season for them, but they're going to be taking on the Maine and Georgia Bulldogs, and Georgia's the home team, right, Florio?
Yes.
All right, so God, this is a tough one for me. I mean, Ole Miss, they've been on a really good run, but there's something about Georgia, especially when they're at home. I don't know. I gotta go with Georgia to pull off the upset and to beat Ole Miss. I don't know why. I just got this feeling, but I would not at all be surprised if Ole Miss were to go into Georgia and beat the Georgia Bulldogs. So, but until I'm proven wrong, I gotta go with the Maine and Georgia Bulldogs. So it's yours, Florio.
The challenge seems straightforward. Can a more explosive Ole Miss offense handle a sturdier Georgia defense? Had the Rebels performed better last week, an upset might be more appealing. But this Georgia coaching staff is likely to stress Trinidad Chambliss after, as Lane Kiffin called it, some Division II stuff last weekend and force him into a few mistakes. I would love to see Ole Miss pull this off. But with this game being in Athens, Georgia, it's very hard to go against the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, especially at home. I know Alabama got them there a couple weeks or so ago, but I got to go with Georgia here. 27-21, Georgia holds off Ole Miss. So not much more to say here. MF, game of the week, number 5 Ole Miss, number 9 Georgia. Fowler and Hervey on it. Who you got?
And our SEC game of the week, by the way, as well. You know what? I'm with you guys. Georgia at the Hedges. Other than that one little mistake, I don't see it, man. I don't think it's gonna go. So yeah, Georgia wins. I got nothing more to say. It's a unanimous. Florio, back to you.
Not one, but 2 4:00 games coming up. It's very rare we get 2 4:00 games. Well, we got them right here. So let's start it off with the number 7 Texas Tech Red Raiders. Number 7 Texas Tech Red Raiders on the road against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Mountain America Stadium, Tempe, Arizona, formerly Sun Devil Stadium. Game on Fox. Connor Onion and Mark Helfrich will be on the call for that one. And Texas Tech opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. Injuries are beginning to sting Arizona State, which played last Saturday without star quarterback Sam Leavitt. If he's sidelined again, and that's a distinct possibility, Texas Tech should put together a comfortable win. And I'm going with Texas Tech to win this game. 34-16. Give me Texas Tech to defeat Arizona State. Not much more to say. MF, your thoughts? Texas Tech and Arizona State. MF, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Look, let's be realistic here. I gotta go with Texas Tech. I'm gonna go with Texas Tech. I think they're gonna be. This should be an easy game for them. Yes, Arizona State. I get it. It's one of those type of games where it can go a number of different ways. But I got Texas Tech. I got them winning. Bullock, go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Texas Tech. I think they should be able to handle their business with Arizona State here. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to the next game.
The other 4:00 game is over on ESPN2. And look who's in the top 25 here, guys. The number 22, Memphis Tigers, on the road against a team we hardly ever call here on this show, the UAB Blazers. Protective Stadium, Birmingham, Alabama. MF, you know that stadium very well. They're home to a certain team that you like in spring football. So
yeah. Fortunately for me, they did not get contracted. I don't know if you heard, but a lot of hugabaloo broke out about the UFL, and fortunately for me, that said team survived. So
They did.
they yeah. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. I'm going with Memphis though. I feel like Memphis should win this game, and there's really nothing more to add there. So
Well,
Memphis should win, and yeah, and Bullock, it's yours.
forgot to set the schematics there, but that's all right. Before I get to you, Bullock, or before we get to you here, Memphis opening up as a 21.5-point favorite. And the announcers for that game will be Matt Schumacher and Dustin Fox. So, all right, Bullock, now your thoughts. Number 22, Memphis at UAB.
Yeah, I think Memphis should be able to handle their business with UAB. So I got Memphis winning. It's yours.
UAB just fired Trent Dilfer. So maybe the quote-unquote first game interim bump is headed to the Blazers. That said, I'm not going to believe a defense giving up 41.3 points a game could cause an upset. Memphis will roll. 44-21, give me Memphis all over UAB. 6:30 kickoff. How about this? We have two 6:30 kickoffs. Amazing. Starting with the now number 8 Oregon Ducks on the road against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. SHI Stadium, Piscataway, New Jersey. This game will be over on the Big Ten Network. And on the call for that game will be Guy Haberman, Jake Butt. I believe their sideline reporter is Brooke Fletcher. And spread favors Oregon. Oregon opening up as a 17-point favorite. So I believe this goes to Bullock here. So Bullock, number 8 Oregon, after that tough loss to Indiana at home, now they got to go on the road against Rutgers. Sounds like a get-right game for Oregon.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like a get-right game for Oregon here. I mean, after a tough loss against Indiana, and I think they will bounce back. And so, give me the Oregon Ducks to bounce back and win this. So it's yours.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be Oregon, no doubt about it. Rutgers actually has a solid offense, but those efforts are basically wasted in a rough defense. In all 3 Big Ten games, the Scarlet Knights have ceded 31-plus points. Not a favorable trend with Oregon on the way. Oregon rolls 43-24. Give me Oregon all over Rutgers. Not much more to say. MF, get right game for Eric Carrier and his Oregon Ducks as they go to Rutgers.
You would think at any other time this would be disaster and everything else. But I'll say this. I would probably say it's gonna be Oregon. It has to be Oregon. They're gonna be mad as hell right now. They know they let one get away, and poor Rutgers are about to get steamrolled from a pissed off Oregon team. So yeah, give me the Ducks, man. Nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock led off.
Sorry, my bad.
No. And the Cincinnati Bengals have just scored a field goal. They now lead the Steelers 33-31. 7 seconds remaining. My goodness, what a game.
How many timeouts?
None on either side.
Oh, it's game over. It's game over. Pittsburgh's not coming back from that. Nope.
This might be the Thursday night game of the year to this point so far.
Yep, I agree with that.
And we picked this as our number 2 game of the week. And Colts and Chargers, game of the week. Follow that.
Good luck, boys.
Yeah, good luck to the Colts and the Chargers. So, but anyways, moving on to our other 6:30 game. The now number 18 Virginia Cavaliers back home at Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, hosting the Washington State Cougars. And you can find this game over on the CW. Tom Brenneman and Will Blackman will be on the call, and Virginia opening up as a 17.5-point favorite. Rather surprisingly, Washington State put a scare into Ole Miss last Saturday. At the very least, the Cougars earned more respect in Week 8, even if that does not equate to being a trendy upset pick at Virginia. I'm going with Virginia to win this game. 31-23. Give me Virginia over Washington State. So, not much more to say. MF, number 18, Virginia, at home against Washington State. Keep in mind, Washington State nearly went into Ole Miss and stole one, despite being a 33-point dog to Ole Miss.
Yeah, normally, and the thing is, Anthony, you know this better than anybody else. And we always talk about it. We always preach about it. When it doesn't matter if it's in the NFL, it doesn't matter if it's in college. If you play down to your competition and you don't give them the proper respect, things like this tend to happen. And we almost saw it. Washington State almost pulled off a massive upset. They almost did. But I think Virginia probably saw that and is like, we cannot do that. We cannot let this team do what they almost did and pull that upset. So get focused, get locked in, do your job. Let's win this game. Virginia wins. Nothing more to say. Bullet, go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I gotta go with Virginia to beat Washington State here. So yeah, give me Virginia to win. So it's yours, Florio.
MF, you were right. Pittsburgh could not come back. Bengals have won it. The Cincinnati Bengals, have upset the Pittsburgh Steelers 33-31. The Bengals improved to 3-4 on the season. The Steelers dropped to 4-2. We will have a lot to say about this game tomorrow night on NFL Friday. Believe that. Holy hell, what a game. Best Thursday night game so far by a mile. So, 5-star classic. I'm glad that Allen Herbie got one. So, they were due for one. So, not much more to say except I think it's prime time, boys. It's time to get into the prime time slate of games here. And we got a nice little slate of prime time games here. All right. 7 o'clock game. The number 21. The now number 20. And back in the top 25, the number 21. Texas Longhorns on the road against the Kentucky Wildcats. Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky. You can find this game. I believe this is on ESPN. Yes. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonatoni on the call. And Texas opening up as a 12.5-point favorite. I believe this one goes to MF. So, MF, Texas back in the top 25 after that convincing win over Oklahoma and Red River. And now they go on the road against Kentucky. Letdown game, or do they have the momentum?
No, I think Texas realizes now, okay, now we're playing for everything. And Kentucky hasn't really been that great this year. They're only 2-3. I kind of feel like the odds makers are a little generous to Kentucky because I think Texas right now, not only are they feeling themselves after that win, I really feel like this is gonna be the big one. So I think I think their season's completely turned around after that Red River win. So give me Texas to beat Kentucky. Bullock, go.
Yeah, I gotta go with Texas to win. I mean, I don't see this being a letdown for them. And like you said, Kentucky hasn't been playing that well. So So there's really nothing more for me to say. And Florio, we do have some breaking news,
And that is
and that is the Toronto Blue Jays have evened the series with the Seattle Mariners. They win it 8-2, and boys, this is now a best of 3, and I mean, unbelievable. We were thinking like, wow, how could Toronto play like this? But now it's even. We got ourselves a series, boys, and they are the 6th team in MLB history to win games 3 and 4 after losing the first 2 at home.
very impressive. And this now guarantees the series will be going back to Toronto for game 6. And that will be on Sunday. So, but
Yep.
we gotta get through now. Pivotal game 5 in Seattle tomorrow. So, wow, that series just took a major turn of events. So, pivotal game 5 tomorrow night. So, anyways, getting back to Texas and Kentucky, road games are strange. Kentucky hung around with Ole Miss earlier this season. Texas, nevertheless, should just be too good defensively for a Kentucky offense that stopped shy of 300 yards in losses to South Carolina and Georgia. Texas wins 27-10. Give me Texas. 7:30 kickoffs now. We got 3 of them, 2 of which are very exciting. The other one, not so much. Well, we're going to start it off with with another one of the big games of the week. You could call this the number 2 game of the week if you wanted to. Another big SEC matchup. 7:30 on ABC. The number 6 Alabama Crimson Tide at home. Nick Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, welcoming the number 11 Tennessee Volunteers. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, and Alabama opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. Bullock, I believe this one goes to you. The number 2 game of the week overall. Number 6 Alabama at home against number 11 Tennessee. Who you got?
Yeah, this should be a really good one. I think this is going to be a close one all the way through, but I think it's going to be roll tide roll. Alabama will beat Tennessee in what I think is going to be a very close game. So it's yours, Florio.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. We know both offenses can score. However, a lingering issue for the Vols is their defense, which has surrendered 31 plus points in all 3 SEC games. It's not a positive sign heading into a clash with Alabama's soaring offense. High scoring game, close game, but I got to go with Bama. I think Bama ekes it out. 34-27. Give me Alabama to hold off Tennessee in what will be another exciting game on Saturday night. Not much more to say, MF. Number 6 Alabama at home against number 11 Tennessee. The Saturday night game of the week on ABC. Your thoughts?
Big game, big battle. Any other time, if this was in Tennessee, I'd probably go with Tennessee for the upset. But you're at Alabama. Different animal, different situation. And it's at night game as well. Sorry, Jake. I got to go against you here. I'm going Alabama to win this game. Close game, tight game. Maybe even closer than what the experts have it. Because they have it at 8.5. I think it might be even closer than that. But I got Alabama winning this game and continuing on their march. So nothing more to say. Yeah. If it goes to Bullock, it goes to Bullock. If it doesn't, then Anthony, back to you.
It goes to me. Bullock started it. So, all right. Overall, this is the number 3 game of the week. But for me personally, this is my game of the week right here. Because you know how much this rivalry means to me. This rivalry means to me just like Michigan and Ohio State mean to MF and Bullock. You could consider this my Michigan and Ohio State here. Another one of the all-time greatest rivalries in college football. Under the lights in prime time. Would I have it any other way? Abso-freaking-lutely not. This is what I live for. 7:30, Saturday night, NBC. The now number 13, Notre Dame Fighting Irish at home, once again at home at Notre Dame Stadium, under the lights. And who's coming to town? The number 20, the now number 20, USC Trojans. As a Notre Dame fan, this is the game that I always have circled in blood red on my calendar. You know that. So, Notre Dame as a 9.5-point favorite. And this is where, and we're going to see the Big Ten on Saturday night, the Big Ten Saturday night on NBC. Their crew, Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge, Catherine Tappan, and Notre Dame opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. And it's only fitting I start this off. On paper, this is a contest between two high-powered offenses. The main question is whether Notre Dame's defense can continue its ascent from an ugly start to the season. Of course, as a Notre Dame fan, I will lean yes, particularly at Notre Dame Stadium. But Jaden Maiava, led USC, is fully capable of springing the upset in South Bend, and I would not at all be surprised if they do. They are that dang good. Ask MF and Bullock, they'll tell you firsthand, because it was their Michigan Wolverines who got smacked around by USC in the LA Coliseum last Saturday night. So, sorry to bring it up, boys, but just stating a fact. So, this is going to be another high-scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to the end. But you know me. I know they started 0-2, but they have quickly turned the corner. They've won 4 in a row. And this one is not going to be easy. Unlike the last few games, the last 4 games have been easy. This one will be anything but. But I if this game was in the Coliseum, I might spring for. I actually would have considered going against my team here because the Coliseum is not an easy place to win. But this is not at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. This is at Notre Dame Stadium. Totally different animal. Notre Dame's turned the corner. They got their mojo back. And I believe they're going to find a way. 36-31. Give me Notre Dame to defeat USC. One of the greatest rivalries of all time. MF. Number 13, Notre Dame, at home at Notre Dame Stadium, under the lights, against number 20, USC. And you know how much this game means to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And to any Notre Dame fan, this is one of those big ones. You know, and everybody else knows that this is like Ohio State, Michigan. We know that. Notre Dame and USC. We saw Red River. We got the Iron Bowl coming up. So you know these are one of those big matches that every year in college football we get a little excited when a matchup like this goes down. We got excited for Red River last week. Now it's this one. So obviously, any other time, any other game, if this was in the Coliseum, I'm going with USC. But I agree, Anthony. This is Notre Dame. This is their game. After losing their first 2, they're bouncing back. They're coming back. They're making that run. They're on the outside looking in for the playoffs. To be real honest, they're on the outside looking in. But I'll say this. If USC plays the way that they played against Michigan, this might be, I don't know, man. The SC could steal this. But I am going Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a 1-score game. Give me the Fighting Irish to win it. But, man, I would not be shocked if USC does it. They've ripped your hearts out. I think last year or a couple of years ago, there was like a last-second touchdown. and they beat Notre Dame in their house. So they're not afraid of doing it. They've done it a couple of times. USC has beaten Notre Dame in Notre Dame a couple of times in the last few years. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but we'll see. So nothing more to say. Bullock.
Yeah, I gotta go with Notre Dame to win this. I mean, if this were in USC at the Coliseum, there's no doubt in my mind I would have gone with USC. But and I know how much this means to you, Floria, how much you really want this, and I think they're gonna do it. So give me Notre Dame to beat USC. So let's move on.
We got we got one other 7:30 game, and after two incredible games back to back, unfortunately, we got to talk about a dud one here. One of the zonk games of the week. The number 19 South Florida Bulls. South Florida Bulls at home at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, and they're going to be hosting the Florida Atlantic Owls. And this game will be over on ESPN University. And this is an announced team I don't think I've ever called on this show here before, but Jack Kaiser and Craig Hallbear will be on the call. And South Florida opening up as a 21.5-point favorite. MF, I believe you start this one off. Number 19, South Florida at home against Florida Atlantic.
And I'm going to go with South Florida. Yeah, this is, look, you want to talk about a team that definitely has caught the eye and caught the attention of everybody in college football, man. South Florida's been it. They had that one loss against the U. They got blown out by Miami, but other than that, they've been holding their own, man. They beat Boise State, they beat Florida, and then they're just going through their conference schedule right now, and they've been looking pretty damn good. The only loss they have is against like I said, against the U. And here's the thing, man. They are in that power of 5. They're outside of the big crew. So, there's always that one team that will sneak into the playoff. Could this be that team? Could South Florida be that team to represent the non-power, the what they call the power of 5? Can they be that traditional powerhouse to get into that playoff? Because right now, you don't want to face them. Because that's the thing. You beat Boise State, and we all know how much we love our Boise State. Then you beat Florida. You got all of our attentions at that point. South Florida wins. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with South Florida, and yeah, that's another team to keep an eye on to see if they could somehow sneak their way into the college football playoffs. So we'll see. So South Florida wins. It's yours, Florio.
The task is straightforward and anything but simple. Contain the South Florida offense. The dynamic unit has racked up 40.7 points a game, a number that rises to 53.5 outside of power conference foes. Yeah, good luck and Godspeed, Florida Atlantic. South Florida's going to roll. 48-28. Give me South Florida over Florida Atlantic. So not much more. I think we're down to 3 games here. 7:45 kickoff over on the SEC network. The number 16 Missouri Tigers on the road against the Auburn Tigers. Battle of the Tigers here. Jordan Hare Stadium in Auburn. SEC network. It's their A team. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelik. And Missouri opening up as only a 1.5-point favorite. So Michael Bullock started with you here. The Battle of the Tigers, number 16, Missouri at Auburn.
Yeah, this could be a close one. I mean, Auburn definitely is going to give Missouri fits, but I think Missouri will somehow pull it out here. So give me Missouri to win. So it's yours, Florio.
Auburn is winless in SEC play, but make no mistake about the Tigers' ability. They bring a stingy defense no matter the venue. Missouri, which has committed a turnover in 5 straight games, needs to reverse the trend, or else Auburn, after several near misses, can steal a win. I gotta give a slight edge to Missouri, though. 20-17. I think Missouri pulls it out, but I actually would not be surprised if Auburn pulls the upset. This is another upset alert game here, guys. So, but I think Missouri will do just enough. 20-17. Give me Mizzou over Auburn. MF. Here we go. Another theme of this week: upset alert. And here's another one.
Upset alert, indeed. But I'm not pulling the trigger. I can't. Not on this one. I'm actually going to go with Missouri to win, and it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be close, but I got Missouri. I think Missouri is definitely the real deal, so give me Missouri to win it. Florio, back to you.
2 games left, guys, and we have 2 8 o'clock kickoffs, and we're going to start it off with another one of the games of the week. You could probably call this the number 4 game of the week. The Battle of Utah here, boys. 8 p.m. on Fox, the number 15 BYU Cougars at home at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah, squaring off against the team from Salt Lake City, Utah, the number 23 Utah Utes, in the sleeper game of the week. This game is on Fox. Jason Benetti and Robert Griffin III will be on the call for this. And believe it or not, Utah is opening up as a 3.5-point favorite here. So, very interesting here. All right. As far as this is concerned, though the hosts are unbeaten, BYU has played with metaphorical fire in Big 12 action. And this could be the weekend where they finally get burned. Winning on the road is always tough, but Utah brings a terrific defense and a run-heavy offense that is finding its stride and is capable of controlling the game. But with this game being in BYU, now if the game was at Rice-Eccles, slight edge to Utah, because Rice-Eccles is not an easy place to win. But then again, neither is Provo, Utah, and Lavelle Edwards Stadium. I got to give the edge to BYU here. 28-23, give me BYU to win, but I would not at all be surprised if Utah steals one in Provo. After all, they just smacked around Arizona State last week. So we'll see about that. So 28-23, BYU wins. MF, sleeper game of the week, the Battle of Utah. Number 15, BYU, hosting number 23, Utah.
I'm going BYU as well. I don't understand why Utah's a favorite. I don't. I get it. They smacked around Arizona State. I get it. But Arizona State's not that good. Let's be realistic. Give me BYU. They're going to win. Bullet go.
Yeah, I'm going to give the slight edge to BYU to win this one. Yeah, I don't think there's really nothing more that needs to be added to it. So I think we got one more game, Florio.
Yes, we do. And it's another 8 o'clock kickoff. ESPN2, and we have, look who's back in the top 25, the number 24, Cincinnati Bearcats, on the road against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. ESPN2 will have it. It'll be Mike Monaco, Kirk Morrison, and Dawn Davenport on the call. And Cincinnati opening up as a 21.5-point favorite. MF, you lead off on the final game of the night, number 24, Cincinnati at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and you know what? I got to say, a couple of weeks ago, it was a Saturday. I had a day off from work, and I was on Discord, and I was watching Cincinnati play. And I got to admit, I was thoroughly impressed. I was thoroughly impressed with the way Cincinnati played. Offensively, defensively, I'm like, oh, this team's lagging. This team might be one I might have to keep a closer eye on. And sure enough, they're back in the top 25. A couple of weeks ago, I thought they should have been in the top 25 about a week or two ago, and yet they didn't get in until now. This is a sleeper team, guys. You might want to keep a closer eye on Cincinnati. The Bearcats are for real. So I know they had a hiccup at the very beginning of the season because I think that was K-State versus Cincinnati. Kansas State won the game and won it pretty comfortably. But Cincinnati is the real deal. And I really like this game. This is going to be really good. Give me Cincinnati to win. Bullock, you got the finals. You got the final. You get your final say here tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Utah. I mean, I'm gonna go with Cincinnati as well. Cincinnati. I mean, yeah, they're a good team, and I think they should be able to handle their business. So give me Cincinnati. Florio, you got the final say.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. Let's see here. Oklahoma State simply hasn't showed it has many solutions on offense to threaten a competent team. Although the Cincinnati defense is not exactly elite, this would have to be a pretty stunning meltdown for the Bearcats. It will not be. Cincinnati wins this one going away, 37-16. Give me Cincinnati over Oklahoma State. And with that, that will put the bow on this Week 8 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again tomorrow night, right back here on the Tone 25 for another edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, Week 7 edition. I know we're going to have quite a bit to say about that very exciting game tonight with the Steelers and the Bengals. That 5-star classic of a shootout. What a game that was. And then we'll get into the remaining games of week number 7. And then Saturday night, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk. Very light docket because we're only going to be covering Friday Night SmackDown. Yeah, I know you're asking, what about TNA? Don't you guys cover TNA? Yes, we do. But here's the thing. I think TNA is going to be doing some special programming over the next few weeks. Because tonight they did what they called After the Glory. They had Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywald in the studios. They interviewed some select superstars, including the new TNA heavyweight champion Mike Santana, and among others. And then next week they're doing they're going to have a special behind the scenes look at Bound for Glory called Fade to Black. So it's an all access look at leading up to Bound for Glory and Bound for Glory. It's going to be something. So we're definitely going to have to tune into that next week. But point is, we will not be covering TNA until they return to in-ring action. And I think the earliest possible date they might be doing that will be a special live edition of Impact on Thursday night, November the 13th from Full Sail University, guys. How about that? They're going to NXT's old stomping grounds here. So I think over the next few weeks, they might be doing some special programming. They did it tonight. They're doing it next week. And then we'll keep an eye on the other 2 weeks after that. So we will not be covering TNA, at least for the next 2 weeks. So it'll be all about SmackDown on Saturday night. And then Tuesday night, we got Ridiculously Raw, Monday Night Raw, NXT, preview of next week's Thursday Night Football game. Another good one, the Minnesota Vikings against the Los Angeles Chargers from SoFi. So see how that goes. And then 1 week from tonight, excuse me, next week, the Week 9 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. It's a mixed bag week because we got South Florida against Memphis. Ooh, that's a good one there. Ole Miss against Oklahoma. Virginia goes on the road against Bill Belichick in North Carolina. We got Missouri against Vanderbilt. MF, your friend, your lady friend who likes Syracuse, they got to go on the road against number 12 Georgia Tech. So good luck to her on that. And of course, the game of the week next week, there's no doubt about what the game of the week is next week. Texas A&M and LSU. Ooh, that's going to be good. So that's just some of the games we'll get into on this program 1 week from tonight. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Week 7 edition of NFL Friday, this is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, always and forever, our First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for NFL Friday, you've been watching the Week 8 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and streaming.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody. Bye.